Welcome to the Iconics Genesis 64 video guide. This video discusses how to prepare global aliases, including how to use them in data sources as well as in text, and how to set their configurations in runtime with pick actions.
Let us take advantage of global aliases to save our development time and also to save the space on my operator screen. In my screen you can see two tanks, one on the first floor and second on the second floor. My goal is to use only one of them and with a click of the button change the context of the data coming into the tank. I'll go to configuration mode and I will delete one of those. Then I will look at the other one and see the data sources that specify the data coming from the OPC server. There are two of them exposed as smart properties. You may note that in the data source there is this tank ID hard-coded. What I want to do is to change it to global alias and change it based on the button that I push. Okay? There are two ways how to define the global alias. First, you can define them in the database configurable within the workbench, or the second option is to set them dynamically on the GraphWorX screen. In this video, we will use the first option. I will go to workbench. I will select the global alias provider, aliases, and themes. You may know there are two items, aliases and themes, in the structure. As I need two global aliases for my screen, one for the tank ID and the second one for the description, I decided to use one global theme used for both of the aliases, and if I change the theme, then both of the aliases, tanks and tank ID, will change its value. Tank theme has three items. If I select the tank ID, I can see that when I selected the tank theme, I have also three items, the values, and for every of the theme value, I can specify my alias value. For the tank 1, I will use the alias value tank 1, tank 2, and tank 3. Similar it's in tanks, for the tanks alias. Just for the first item, I will use the value tank on the first floor, for the second item, tank on the second floor, and so on. Let's go back to GraphWorX and use them. So I will go here in the liquid level. I can see the data source, but I will go to global aliases. In the global aliases, I will select the item that I would want to replace. I will go for the global alias tank ID, double click, and you may note that I have replaced the string tank1 with this special syntaxed string tank ID. Okay, the same I will do in the second data source, but I can just type it in, tank ID. Good. So now my data sources are changed. I will also change the description in a very similar way. I will go for global aliases. I will go for tanks. You can see the syntax here. Only difference is that I will treat the result as a literal string because I do not want to consider it as a data source but a string. You can see that it's a slightly different syntax. Okay, so my symbol is now ready. I just also need two buttons to change the global alias. One button, let's call it first floor, will set the global aliases. As a global alias, I want to change themes, not the individual aliases. I will select the tank theme And item 1, I will not set it at the machine level or process level, but on the document level, which means on the display level or multiple pop-up levels. I will start relatively to the current document level. Okay. I will copy the button. Let's call the second one second floor. And I will just change the value here to tank2 and go to runtime. By default, I specified the first floor. If I click the second floor button, you can see that my description changed and also the data sources. Let's click to first floor again to see the difference.